Flosstube, it's Lori McClary, textilist. Welcome to my channel. Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, October 6th. Welcome back to my channel if you're a returning subscriber. If this is your first time here, welcome. This Flosstube is mostly about cross stitch, sometimes quilting, sometimes woolwork, sometimes antique sewing machines, basically all things textile. I'm really glad you're here. It's been quite a while since my last Flosstube. I think the last one was the end of July. Since then, a lot has happened. I am sorry it took so long to get them. I think the last time I filmed was right after kind of getting everything back together after being evacuated for the fires that were occurring this summer in Central Oregon. Fortunately, they have been tamped down. We have, I think there's still a few going, but in Central Oregon, it's pretty clear. In fact, they're starting to do what they call the prescribed burns, which is burning that they do in problem areas where they know that fires are likely. So they get rid of what they call the fuel and they do a controlled burn or a prescribed burn. So a couple of those are going on today, but basically it's clear blue skies. It's pretty cold. Right now it's in the 30s, but it will warm up today to, I think, the 60s here in Sisters, Oregon. It's one of the great things about living in the mountains. You get those really nice cool nights even in the summertime, and then during the day it's bright and sunny. I think we have about 350 days of sun a year on average. So what's been happening? Lots. Right after we last chatted, I had my 9-month scan and everything came back really well. That week is kind of a down week. I have 2 MRIs, which means they have to do them a day or 2 apart, and a CT scan, and kind of takes it out of me. So I usually lay low that week, and then there's also the follow-up doctor's appointment to talk about the scans. But everything came back really good. Yay me. They currently occur every 3 months. So if everything continues to go good with the next scan, I think we get to cut back to 3 times a year versus 4 times a year, and maybe eliminate one of the MRIs, which is really good news because they are tiring and they are expensive. So, you know, dipping into my Stitchy cash. Anyway, so scans came back good. Doctor said everything looks good, so let's keep it going that way. After the scan week, I worked a little bit on making some bags for the last giveaway. So those went out at the beginning of August, and I did get some new starts. I'm going to show those in a little bit. In the middle of August, Audrey Stitchy Witch 42 came and spent a couple days at my house, and we had a scrapbooking, or well, it's not really a scrapbooking. We had a scrapping weekend. We did some junk journaling, so I'll show you something that we did there. And then directly after that, I left and drove to my old hometown in Washington and hung out with Lisa. And then we flew out to Phoenix, Mesa, Arizona area for the attic retreat and had a ball. So Lisa and Brenda and many people have documented that. So when I kind of go through stuff from the attic, it'll be short because it's been documented, and this video is going to be long anyway. Came home and worked on a surprise sampler for a dear friend of ours. You may know her, Linda Jo Pretty Southern. She's expecting at Thanksgiving, I believe. And so we have a smaller group that we worked on a sampler, and I will insert a picture of that here. And so we worked on that sampler and was able to gift it to Linda Jo at a surprise baby shower here 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that was really fun. So there was some time spent there. Worked on a stitchy mat for the next retreat, which I'll show you here as well. And then immediately turned around, it was like 3 weeks, I think, after the attic retreat, drove back to Olympia, and Lisa Kindred Stitcher and I met up with Susan Stanley and Jody from Trixie Tricycle for a day of shopping at Carriage Country Quilts in Des Moines, Washington. Some lunch and a lot of a stitchy chat after that. It was wonderful. It was so great to meet both of those beautiful ladies, and we had a great time. We're definitely going to have to get back together. And then the next day we flew out to Kansas City / Lee Summit for the Quilter Station cross stitch retreat. So Quilter Station is in Lee Summit, which is outside of Kansas City. I believe they've held retreats, many retreats for several years, but this was their first cross stitch retreat. And so that also has been very well documented by both Lisa Kindred Stitcher and Lisa Primzon Greenway, which we got to meet and hang out with for the first time. So we had a wonderful week there in Lee Summit. We did a little shopping outside of Lee Summit. We went to Lexington, Missouri, which is where the purple turnip is, and we got to meet with Nagy Bononomy and went to her shop and hung out with her for a while. It was very cool, and I have the most awesome purchase from Maggie's shop, which I will share with you in a little bit. And then came back. I spent the following week, I stayed in the Olympia area and spent time with my mom and spent time, my daughter and my granddaughter flew in for 4 or 5 days, and we all got to hang out for several days, which was a lot of fun. And then I came home, and the next week I got to go visit and meet with Barry Stitch Folk. She came up for a visit with Penny, who is Penelope Tucker, Penny Tucker, who is on Instagram. And we met up at Penny's house and spent the entire day looking at wonderful fabric and quilt stash and chatting and talking stitching, and it was a great day. So it has been really, really busy. And then in between that, we had Linda Jo's baby shower, which was in Portland. So as you can see, it's been a whirlwind, and I'm exhausted. And I'm going to be leaving again here shortly for another retreat, the last one of the year, which is the Midwest Cross Stitch Retreat in Amana Colonies. I'm super excited. Lisa and I are going in a couple days early so that we can actually visit the Amana Colonies and go to all the shops that we never quite get to when we're there. And I'm going to do a little holiday shopping ahead of time, and just looking forward to that. So first off, Audrey Stitchy Witch 42 came over and visited for 2 or 3 days, and we spent that time junk journaling, and we did a little shopping in Bend. We went to a shop that just opened, I think they said in January, although they've had an online presence for a long time, called the Rubber Buggy. So made some cool purchases there. It's a great shop. It's online, like I said. If you want to check it out, I will put some information below. But Audrey basically held my hand and kind of got me over that first hump of what do I do with some scrapping, and we just had the best time. So I had a ton of stuff that I bought in anticipation when I was still working. I have a ton of scrapping supplies. I just never had the opportunity to delve in it. So I had called her up, said, let's get together. She says, tell me when, and we did make it happen. So my very first endeavor is right here, and I did post this on Instagram, and this is made out of a file folder, and this is Audrey's suggestion of a good place to start. So it opens like this, and there's a pocket here with some ephemera that is cut out and inked. There is another pocket here, which is glued on and sewed on. It's just like a little tuck pocket, and there's different ephemera right there, and then it's stamped and glued. My contribution to the weekend was a huge stack of tea bags, which I have been saving, where I would dry the tea bag and then empty the tea out and then keep the tea bag. So like right here you can see there's a torn tea bag. That's also sewed on. And then there's the next, and here's a contribution from Audrey. She did a lot of coffee tea dyeing, some papers, so this is just a little flip out. And then on the back is another pocket. You can tell I love sunflowers. And then some more ephemera that we cut out. Look at that. Let's see if you can see that. She has a fleur-de-lis stamp, so that was really fun to use. We traded things back and forth. Here's the back, some more tea bags, some washi tape, and some fussy cuts. And then everywhere where I needed to do a transition between where I had pages glued, I used a torn tea bag and I glued that on. So it was super fun. This was just happenstance that ended up there. And I loved it. I loved it. It was great. We'll be definitely doing some more of those. It's a little bit harder to get over the mountain during the winter, so I think we're probably going to do a couple of Zoom scrap meetups. But so that's the scrappy part of the video. The other thing that I worked on, and I did this between the two retreats. When we went to the attic retreat, there were many ladies there that had stitching mats. So Barry at Stitch Folk, she has some stitching mat sets. You should go check her out. She has a Instagram page that she sells through. So be sure and check out Barry. So I kind of came home and I challenged myself to create a stitchy mat, and the challenge was that I only could use what was in my scrap bag. So what I came up with, oops, things are falling out here. What I came up with was this. This is folded up, so this backing is probably the largest piece. But when you flip it out, it has two little side flip outs. This side flip out has several pockets to put in the needles and scissors and several things. I basically cleaned it out after my last retreat. And then there's a flip out here that has, I call it the Stitchy Corral. There's many names for it, but basically it has the fabric on here that holds your thread when you're stitching. So here's the mat. And then here's what it looks like flipped out. And I used, I made some flying geese here, and then these log cabins are from my, using the product that I've yet to launch on making really nice log cabins. But basically this is the stitchy mat, and this is all scraps from my scrap bag. You can kind of tell what colors I like. So it turned out really cute. I was pleased with it. Of course, as soon as I used it, I figured out a few things that I still needed to add to my mat to make it really useful. So there's my stitching mat. So as I mentioned, Lisa and I attended the attic retreat in Mesa, Arizona. And that retreat, it's the first time I've been to that retreat. I was signed up for the previous one, but because of being sick basically and COVID, I did not attend. But I was super excited to get into summer school. I have a ton of stuff here to show you, so I'm going to try to go through it pretty quickly. And if I don't mention your name, there were so many Stitchy gifts that were dropped off at our table. So some of them I don't know who gave to me, and some of them I may not recall. I will do my best, but if you gave me one of these Stitchy gifts, thank you so much. They are beautiful. I was just overwhelmed. I think a lot of us were overwhelmed, and I'm not a person who gets overwhelmed easily, but that one definitely was overwhelming. All of the generosity and the gifts, and it was a wonderful retreat. Let's see, one of the gifts, and this is definitely what I don't recall who gave this to me. Let me see if I have, nope, I don't have a name here. Beautiful little scissor fob, and it says Amour. So received that from a kind gifter who attended. Also received, and I think I do know who this one, yes. So this one came from Lorraine. This was Rags to Stitches, and she stitched everyone a crocheted flower with a button, and I wore this the whole time I was there. It was really cute. There was a mini fob, and these are going to be mixed up between what were gifts from the attic and were gifts from people. There was a fob from My Big Toe Designs, and it was right there. And it also had, I don't remember if it had that on it or if I put that on it. I think I might have put that on it. And then in the gifts that we received from the attic, one was this pair of scissors, black scissors. They're so cute, very sharp, and they came in this gorgeous little container. I'm definitely gonna save that, either just to keep these stored in or might use it for my scrapping. But received those, and let's see. Everyone received one of these beautiful scissor, I don't know what you would call it, scissor tray. These are handmade and were, I think, lasered to put that in there. You can also buy these. They don't say summer school, but you can buy these from the attic. They have these available. They are very handy, and it's nice to be able to lay something, your metal scissors, on these. So that came from Jean Lee and the attic. We also received, let's see, these are Kohana, received this little needle minder. And we also received, they look like little macaroons, and we got real macaroons too. This is a needle sharpener. And we received, let's see, this beautiful mother of pearl button from Jean. Let's see if I can do that better. Mother of pearl button. And we received, sorry, crackle, another Kahana. I'm not going to take it out of the box because it's too hard to get back in, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the box. I'm definitely going to save the box too. But it looks like a little spool. It's ceramic, and it also has a magnet in it, so this is a needle holder to put your needles in. Then there were some pop-up shops, and not only was this a designer that was there, but she also had a pop-up shop. It's Nancy Mills and 5 Times Blessed. And from her pop-up shop, I was able to get a couple of strawberry fobs, and those were beautiful. They had one more color, but I tell you, it was like sale day at Macy's when she put out her pop-up shop. It was every woman for herself. I also was able to get, this is also from Nancy, this beautiful framed metal Summer School 2021. So just love that. I'm going to hang that up somewhere. So was able to get that. And then a little Stitchy doodad, which is going to go on a journal. I have, let's see, I'm not sure which journal I'm going to put this on. Probably the one that I did for not summer school, the one I did for Quilter Station. And I know there's one more thing. Where did it go? Hold please. Oh, here it is. So this was also from Nancy, and she said that these were Civil War era buttons, and it's on a pin with a nice little piece of vintage lace. So lots of little accoutrement and goodies. Really had a wonderful time with those. Also, if you haven't ever thought of this, I took this with me to the attic to the attic retreat, and I used one of the pages for people to sign. So that will forever be in there. So that was pretty wonderful. And then I took that a step further, which I'll show you later when we start talking about the Quilter Station retreat. So let me pause here for a minute and make some space, and I'll be right back with my haul from and maybe I'll show you some of the stitches that we received and what I started. So one of the things when we first got there was this really great bag. This also has the attic logo on here. And right now I'm just kind of throwing everything, all the small stuff in here so that I don't lose it. But we received that also from Jean and the ladies at the attic. Alrighty, I'm going to go through the projects that we received at the attic fairly quickly, and not in order because, quite frankly, it's at least 2 retreats ago, so I don't remember the order. But as I mentioned, Lisa Kendra Stitcher has more information on her video if you want to go back and look. So we received a project from Linda at Needlemate Designs, and she also had this sampler there, and it was beautiful. Now the picture here shows it looking like it's on like a light gray linen. It wasn't. It was actually a very, very dark linen. Think vintage, what's the double dye from Lakeside Linen? Shoot, I can't remember. I'll scroll it across here, but it was on a very dark brown modeled, and it was stunning. I definitely want to do this particular sampler. And then we received, as the project for summer school, we received the smaller project. The linen that we got was a very light linen, and I immediately, on break, I went upstairs and I poured myself a cup of coffee, and I coffee dyed my piece. So my piece is going to look a little bit different than everyone else's. She also gave us some of the Belle Soie in the green and the red, and all of the finishing, including the green silk dupioni here. Isn't that pretty? I love silk dupioni. All of the finishing things that we needed, including this beautiful Celtic knot on ring for a floss ring. And so that again came from Linda at Needlemate Designs, and it's really, really pretty. I didn't get the pincushion started on here, but it's a mattress pincushion. It's really cute, and it's kind of on my top of my small list of things to get started. So that was from Linda at Needlemate Designs. Oh, and again, this is called Helen Murray 1822. Vintage Autumn Gold, that's what it is, Vintage Autumn Gold. So that was one project. And another project we received was from Needlework Press. I loved meeting the ladies, and they from Needlework Press. This one was Elsie Curtis, Home Sweet Home, and she told us a very charming story about where the phrase Home Sweet Home came from. And that came with a 36 count hog bristle, linen, and all of the Valdani flosses. Now, I've heard that some people really don't care for Valdani. I love Valdani. I think the colors are beautiful. I think the floss is fine. I really do like it, and I'm looking forward to getting that started. So along with the Home Sweet Home chart and the fabric and the floss, the Valdani floss, we also received a cigar box. Everyone got something a little bit different, although Lisa's and I are the same because I picked them out when she was away from the table. And we received instructions and information on how to put some little dividers in the cigar boxes, and we also got some ephemera to decorate our cigar box. And we had a really good time picking out things to decorate our cigar boxes. So that's going to be a really great project to do later. Then from Nancy Mills of 5 Times Blessed, she was a teacher, and she gave us a little project called Home is Best with this really cute little thread keep. And I did finish my thread keep. Oops, let me take the needle out of it here. Finished my thread keep. And it has this cute little charm that is a pineapple. And then she gave us all of, oops, I already put it over there. She gave us all of these little doodads right here to go ahead and finish that. So that is started, and I just need to do the finish work now. The next project is from the Scarlet House, and we received Marianne Smith, 1835. And it is a very, very pretty chart. And it came with all of the Aversois silk. Isn't that gorgeous? And it came with this little box and some ephemera to decorate the box with, and this little project for us to stitch on while we were there to put a top on the box. And I did get that started, but I didn't get very far because I got distracted by the next project. So these Aversois silks are really, really nice to work with. I love those. So that was from the Scarlet House. The next project was the ER 1821 Sampler Reproduction. And this is from Samplers Remembered. And we received this really, really cute box. Oops. Oops, I'm losing things here. We received all of the Weeks Die Works, and we got a cute little chain here with a little, or not a chain, we got a cute ring for our floss and all of the floss, and it has a little doodad there, and it came in the box that was wrapped, excuse me, was wrapped and tied with this on the front, and I also got that started, and I got pretty far on it. So there is that. Okay, here is one section of haul. This is what I purchased at the attic. Lisa and I had a conversation on the plane on the way over, and I said, okay, I'm going to limit myself to kitting up 2 kits. And we kind of did, not really a pinky swear, but you know, I was committing to that, and I mostly stuck to it. I actually ended up kitting up 2.5 kits, only because I couldn't get all of the silks. I'm telling you, the ladies cleaned the attic out of the silks. But there were 2 very specific things that I wanted to look at while I was there, and I was able to get them, and I was able to kit them up. The first one, and I don't think I'm going to take everything out of the bag, or maybe I will, was Anne Gott, 1848. I've been wanting to get this since it came out, but even watching the videos with Jean and her staff. I could not figure out whether I wanted the silks or the cottons or the 103s, but after looking at it in person, I did decide to go ahead and just kit it up with the cottons. They're all beautiful, by the way. It was kind of a tough decision, but it came with the vintage sand dune, and they had many things already kitted up, so it made it quite easy. And I'm not going to take them all out, but these are the cottons that it calls for. So I was super excited to finally get and got. That was definitely on my list. The next one that was on my list, hold on where I put this all back together, was Isabella Jackson. So Isabella Jackson, I believe, was a retreat piece probably from last year, maybe the year before last. But it's the Scarlet House, and Isabella Jackson, 1829. I've been wanting this since I saw, I think it was probably Brenda and Laura or somebody who was showing it. And I did get it kitted up in the Belle Soise. Here they are. And I was not able to get the called for cocoa that it, or actually it calls for ale. They did not have a piece of ale, but I do believe I have something here at home that I'll be able to use to start that. Although I have so many things started right now and I'm working on so many samplers, it may not get started until next year. We'll have to see when it calls me. While we were there, they had a little trunk show from Wendy From the Heart, Wendy Petros, and I had went through the line. I stood in line for quite a while to check out, and I went through the line, and I went and sat over on one of the tables. I hadn't seen the little trunk show, but I sat down, I turned around, and the sampler was looking right at me saying, "You really need to go get back in line, Lori, and get this." And I had to go back and get it. But what I purchased was D Freitag. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. 1849. A lot of people were calling this the Merry Christmas sampler because the little pin keep says Merry Christmas on it. It's actually charted with several sayings, but I had to go back and get this. And so I did, and I will be showing my start on that in a little bit. So I bought this, and I also purchased Rose Garden. Isn't that stunning? And the samples were stunning. Everything about this was stunning, and it was so great to sit at the table with Wendy and kind of pick her brain and chat with her. She's a very delightful person, and really enjoyed being her table mate. The other thing I did purchase was a piece of Ancient Ruin by Fox and Rabbit. This is so pretty. This is a 40 count. And I got the very last, no, let's see, there's one more. I think it's hanging on one of my projects. I've got a cinnabar, and then I also, there was one other red that I bought, and I think it's already in a kit. So got that, and then I also bought a little piece of banding. I think this is 27 count, and what they had there was they had this banding wrapped on a small spool. It's very small, it's about 1 inch tall, and there was an alphabet on that, so that's what that was purchased for. So that was my haul from the attic, aside from 5 different immense projects. It was so cool. We had a great time. And I think that's all. I might find something in my big basket that I have sitting here that belonged to the attic, but I think that was it. So next up is the trip to Quilter Station, which is in Lee Summit outside of Kansas City, Missouri. Lisa and I did fly in the day before so that we could have a little bit of shopping time at Quilter Station, and I'm so glad we did. I'll have to say that if you've never been there before, it's definitely a destination that you definitely, I can't say definitely too many times, you really want to go. Whether you're a quilter or you're a wool worker or a rug hooker or a stitcher, it is the most amazing place, and we just had a wonderful time. The staff is wonderful. Rita, the owner, is wonderful. She's also a designer. I have a couple of her quilt patterns that I picked up, and it was just a great time. One of the cool things, we were there early, and we got there the night before most people did, and then the following night people were showing up, and they're starting to congregate in the lobby of the hotel that we had the retreat at. And we were sitting there, and somebody leans over, she says, "Is that Jean Lee checking in?" And we were probably about maybe 50 or 100 feet away, and I looked, and it's like, gosh, that really looks like Jean, but I'm surprised. So I walked over there, and sure enough, it was Jean. And that was just so great. I was so cool to see that she came to the retreat, and she had the opportunity to be a participant instead of a host. And of course, it's always wonderful to hang out with Jean. So it was great to see her. I got to meet so many Flosstubers that I had not had the opportunity to meet in person before, and a lot of people from Instagram. And it was a wonderful retreat. The weather was beautiful. We got to go on a couple of little side trips, and we got to hang out with Elisa from Prims on Greenway for one of those trips, and we just had a great time. So I'm going to go through things just like the last retreat. There was a ton of Stitchy gifts that people handed out, and I apologize. I'm not the best at remembering names. Some of these I might remember, but we did get a number of things, either gifts from the from the Quilter station. So we did receive, let's see, we got a big bag like this, this bag right here that came with, from Quilter Station, and it also had this great little floss. Well, actually, it's probably more of a needle minder than anything, but it's cute. It's wood. It came, and then there was also a little bag here that had some goodies in it, chocolate and that sort of thing. We definitely needed those. This is going to be in no particular order because it's a mess here. So also received another crocheted flower. I was so excited. This was the little name tag we got, and I'm so glad that they did that they did name tags. Now belong to Team Liz. This is her Stitch little magnetic needle minder here. So got to meet Liz from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. I received this really, really pretty, there was just a little tray of these going around from Judy Pennington. She is on Instagram at Pennington Judy, or Facebook Judy Pennington. And look at that. Oops, sorry, I'm spinning around. Let me make sure. Look at that Santa. Isn't he gorgeous? So I'm going to put that on a floss ring. This little needle minder, I don't recall. I am so sorry, but thank you, whoever you are. Got this cute little needle minder. And then from Lenny, came in this beautiful bag, and she gave everybody a cute scissor keep needle floss ring, something. This little dangly. So that came from Lenny Stitches. Lisa, I mentioned Lisa Prims on Greenway. She had a little pop-up demonstration. Anybody could stop by her end of the table and learn how to make these really, really cute pin art, and then Shanda. We also got to hang out with Shanda. In fact, she rode with us to the airport, and we had to stop for ice cream. It was great time. But she made this little pin cushion, so I keep these together. So isn't that adorable? I love that. So that's going in my little collection back here of goodies. Lisa from Prims on Greenway have been messaging back and forth quite a bit, and I think it was the night before, or maybe a couple days before, she said, "Hey, look at this cute little autograph book journal that I'm bringing." And it's like, oh wow, great minds think alike, because I had printed out these papers, having learned from the attic that just bringing this book wasn't enough because there's not enough room for everybody to sign. I had printed out some journal pages, and I brought those for people to sign. So I'm going to be creating a journal. Her idea was great. She had her journal done ahead of time. My journal will be coming, and then I want to take some of the doodads that I got from the retreat, and I will be including that in my journal. So I'll show that again later. But this was really fun. So I got that done. Oh, this came from Christine Hollis Hands Creates. I know she gave these out. And these are project cards. These are really nice. You can put them on the back of a project or maybe in a journal. Either one would work. So those were some goodies and gifts. And let's see. There was a pop-up store, but I think I'm going to address that later. So again, in no particular order because I don't remember. I'm just going to pull these out and show the projects. So this project came with a project bag, and it's from Linda Lautenschlager, and I hope I said that right, Linda. And she is Chessie and me, and she told us about Chessie. Chessie was her cat at the time when she started her designs, and I think she's on Chessie 2 or more, but we got this really cute floss winder from Linda. And the project we got was this needle book and accoutrements. And it came with a paper mache house, and she walked us through how to paint the house and distress it. So let's see, what did Lisa say? We paint, wax, rub. And then you paint, wax, rub again. So you start out with a this kind of tannish color, and you painted it. Then you waxed it with it was like a little tea candle. And then you rubbed it, and then you painted it again with black, and you waxed it again, and then you rubbed it again. And depending on how hard you rubbed, I rubbed mine pretty hard, so mine is very primitive looking. I haven't done the inside yet because I plan on decoupaging that. But this is a container for this piece right here. Let's see if you can see that. See, hers is just a little bit darker black. So we received that, and here's what the needle roll looks like. And we received all of the floss and a beautiful floss card. And then also they came around and showed us how to use the cord maker. Now, I bought mine, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I've always been kind of nervous, even though I've watched tutorials on how to do it. So it was really great to get the hands on. So we made a cord for the this part right here for the scissor keep. So we made the cord. And oh gosh, here's another gift. This was from Christy Green. So I'm going to interrupt this program to show you. Christy gave us this really cute little felt needle minder and some darling floss rings and some stickers, and you know all of this is going to go in my journal. And beautiful handwriting from Christy. Thank you, Christy. I really enjoyed this, and I really enjoyed meeting you. It was so fun. I hope we get a chance to retreat again together. So here is the fabric that we received, and like I said, the floss and the extra floss and the kitty and the chart. And then we also received the wool, and I believe that this is a Weeks Dye Works wool. It looks very familiar. I think I have a piece of that. So all of the wool pieces and the ribbon. So super excited to keep working on this project. Just loved it. Loved meeting Linda. She was a very interesting lady. Actually spent a little bit of time chatting with her and a couple other ladies in the back of the room where they reminisced about all the shops that used to be in the Kansas City area and the people who ran them, and it was just a wonderful time. So that was from Linda. And then Beth Twist was also a teacher, and this is the project that she presented, and then she brought it around. It's very cute. It's all bee themed, and I did get a start on it. And of course, so Lisa was sitting next to me, and we were looking at that. And when Beth was showing this, she said you could either do the separate pillows or you could do it's charted so you can do it all in one chart. So Lisa said, well, I'm going to do mine over one. And of course, everyone needs to copy Lisa Kendra Stitcher because, you know, copying is the, what did Anna Green Gables saying it? I'm going to mess it up. But basically, the gist of it is copying is the biggest flattery of all. Totally messed that up. But you get my drift. So she talks about the inspiration about her being a gardener and a beekeeper. And here is the floss card that came with it. It was, oops, a little messy here because it's been all folded up. But it was just gorgeous flowers. And I've only did over one in a couple of small pieces. So this is definitely a learning curve for me. But that's how much I got done. I just got started on the little bee there. So I'm going to do mine over one. I'm probably going to antique it up a little bit. But I did enjoy it. This is very beautiful. And then she also gave us, I'm going to leave these in a package. She gave us these cute little Wildflower seed packets with a hand-stamped copper seed maker. I'm going to use these. I'm going to plant them out here. I hope that they will grow, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to journal with it. The other thing that she sent or included in the kit to make the back of the pillows was this fabric, and it is just gorgeous. I love it. I think I'm going to use these not actually for the pillows that she created, because I'm going to probably do this all in one, but I may use this or part of these, and I'm going to make a little hexagon pin keep for that. Also in here is the Lady Dot Creates, it's like eyelash trim. I will use that. I will probably use that on there. And then I also kept the Twa looking paper, because I think I'm going to take this Twa paper and I'm going to use it on the inside of this. So really great gifts, really great charts. It was so fun. It was so fun. There was so much creativity in that room. It was happy exhaustion. So those were from Beth, and I'm going to go ahead and put this all back together and dive into the next couple projects. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is from Liz Matthews. Hello from Liz Matthews. And she actually was the first presenter, which she did a beautiful job, particularly since she was first up and this was her first retreat, and she knocked it out of the park. The project that she gave us, or the chart that she gave us, is called Pink Cottage School, and it's an antique sampler adaptation. And this is the antique. And it's just stunning, and I cannot wait to start this. I'm probably going to pull the silks to start this. I have a pretty good idea what linen I'm going to use, but I need to pull the silks to make sure that they're correct. But this was the chart that she gave us, and then here's the project. It was a super interesting project. She gave us a hoop, and then she gave us some pre-printed fabric, probably from Spoonflower. And then the project was to take this fabric and then take cut out from these fabrics these butterflies and birds. And I love both of these, but look at that owl. That owl's definitely going to get used. Butterflies and birds, and cut them out and place them somewhere on this fabric. So I was a little bit stumped. My creativity had not started yet. So basically what I started doing was stitching French knots here in the grass. I'm still not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. I generally don't finish things in the hoop, but I may make an exception on this. She did provide us with some beautiful floss and a card, a floss card here, and a needle. You can see I started using that. And then there were some other accoutrement in here. So we got some fancy cutouts. here, and then there's a bird, and then a sticker. And then she also gave us some inspiration of how to finish our project. So this actually is a cutout to put on the back of the hoop to cover up any work. And here was some ideas of how to do the hoop. Super creative. I love how she thinks. I love the thinking outside of the box and doing something a little bit different. So I'm gonna have to really put my creativity cap on and figure out how I'm going to do this. So that was from Liz Matthews. Again, just have to show you again because it's so pretty. Pink Cottage School. So that was from Liz Matthews. And then the last presenter was Alma. And we were all a little, I think there was some trepidation in the room because this was Alma's first retreat as a speaker after the passing of Barb. We all miss Barb. She was so eloquent and so thoughtful and generous of her thoughts and her time in her presentation. She told many wonderful stories about her time with Barb and their time as partners and Blackbird Designs, and then she passed out the kit. It was beautifully put together in this this bag here. And I'm going to pause real quick. Actually, I'm not going to take it out, but so that you know, all of the floss and the fabric and everything is in there to make this little ditty bag. And there is another chart in here. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take it out. If you want to see the other chart, go watch, again, Lisa Kinder Stitcher or Lisa Primzine Greenway. They both, or Carol Salbach Stitcher. They all did a wonderful job. I'm going to leave mine wrapped for a while until I actually open it to go into it because it's going to get displayed here in my prim room. So I'm going to leave that. I was able to get an autograph. We had an opportunity to chat with her a little bit. Then she handed out, basically what she said was, these were charts that Barb designed and that Barb would have wanted us to have them. So generously, very generously handed out the Sweetheart Sampler and Quaker Garden, which was on my unicorn list. I was super excited to see that. And then also the Garden of Life. So these were some charts she handed out. While I was sitting there with my jaw dropped, Carol Salbach Stitcher leaned over and she said, you really should take this one and go talk to Mary Atherton. Mary Atherton was in the back of the room with Linda and a couple other stitchers, and she said she actually stitched this. She was the sampler stitcher for this. So I went back, and that's when I had the opportunity to talk with Mary and Linda about the good old days in Kansas City of stitching and quilting, and she signed it for me, and Alma also signed this for me. So this is going to have a special place in my collection. So that was the actual retreat pieces. And I'm going to pause right here and kind of clean up a little bit, and we'll talk about, oh wait, before I do that, I'm going to talk about haul from the retreat. So every one of the designers did have a little bit of a pop-up shop there, and we were able to buy some charts. So I'm going to start off the haul by kind of showing you some of those charts. This one was a Chessie and me. She had so many. I was really, after the attic retreat and after the trip to Quilter Station, I kind of had to cut back. But this was one that I definitely wanted to get. This is the Gettysburg 1862 sampler, and it has a quote on it by Abraham Lincoln. And the quote says, let me see here, "Liberty is the only thing that you cannot have unless you are willing to give it to others. True. So here is the sampler. And again, it's called Gettysburg 1862 sampler, and I love that mustard color house. So that was there. This is, I don't recall if this was a gift or something I bought, but we're just going to show it. This is the Peace and Prosperity sampler, and this is from Hands to Work. Isn't that beautiful? I also purchased from Liz Matthews. Hello, Liz Matthews. I've been wanting this for quite a while, and this is the Clara Hansen. And I plan on stitching that and putting it in my bedroom because I love that color blue. So those were charts that I bought while we were at the retreat. So now I'm going to pause and clean up a little bit so that I can show you some haul.